Hi Shelley, this is Jim Gillis, Stephanie's husband, and thanks so much for getting back and linking in so quickly. Sorry I don't have my camera on, but I'm not in an office and the background would be just more distracting than helpful. But I wanted to make a quick little demo video for you and tell you a little bit about Win My Vote, what we have right now and where we're going. So just a couple of quick bullet points. And sorry about the way this is set up. The screen capture software won't let me change the frame in the middle of a video, or at least I don't know how to do it. So hopefully this isn't too distracting. But we were, founded, and again, it really wasn't founded. It was sort of a rolling start somewhere between 2014 and 2015. I was kind of just playing around on some free websites, trying to build a ballot where I could see all the candidates side by side. And then, during that time is when I started realizing that there's nothing out there like this, how much it was needed, and the fact that it took me so long, excuse me, to organize the candidate content and the candidate information. It just made me realize, how the huge gap between your average voter knowing about the candidates in each one of the races, and what they could learn really quickly with a tool, like Win My Vote. So our first kind of beta was in June of 2006 at the National Association of Student Council. There was 1,100 students at their annual convention up in Oregon, and we did the mock election there, where they all pulled out their cell phones and tablets and Chromebooks and logged on and were able to see all the candidates and watch videos and engage and discuss on the discussion board, and they could share on social media. And it worked out really well. I mean, the kids all enjoyed it. They all had great opinions about third-party candidates and wanted to get into debates about Jill Stein and Gary Johnson and how they weren't allowed in the in the big national debates and that type of thing. So it was a great time. We also were very surprised about the outcome, which was it was almost a dead heat. Hillary ended up edging out Donald Trump at the very end, but only by less than 2 percentage points. At the time in the polls, she was up by 10 and 15% at times, and everyone thought it was going to be a landslide. So this was a little bit of an eye-opener. The second sort of beta that we did was the National Student Parent Mock Election, which was a much bigger election. It was about 5 million participants nationwide, and in one day we had 113,000 online within just a couple of hours, using the product, and again, it went really smoothly, so we were real happy. 2016, the real election, November of 2016, in the real election, I sort of, populated a San Francisco, California ballot, and we had about probably, I think it was like 500 or 600 people in San Francisco using it. But again, this was out without any marketing at all, just me reaching out to people and sending emails out. Now, that said, we always have been sort of in this stealth mode, meaning that I haven't gone out and talked with a bunch of people or made Win My Vote known as much as I could have. So, for example, like social media, we have a Facebook page and a Twitter account and an Instagram, but they're all just placeholders. I don't really do any there's not very much activity on there at all. And I'm not in a hurry, and the reason behind that is because there is no IP on the site. There's no patents, there's no patents pending, there's no possibilities of any patents. We're really not doing anything unique from the technological standpoint. We're really just organizing stuff out there. It's very much like online dating for candidates, building profiles, putting themselves on ballots, and the user going through and picking their favorite. It's really just applying, models that are already out there to a new industry. So back to the site, I'll show you a couple of ballots. So when a user signs up, all they do is put in their zip code, and that will place them in most of their districts. And if there's any conflict with any of those districts with their zip code, we have some links there that they can figure it out. So again, this is not what the new sign-up page is going to look like, but this is it right here. They put their zip code in, that places them in San Francisco, California, United States. and then it will populate these, voting districts here if they're direct hits. If they're not direct hits like this, they'll give you an either or. So I happen to know mine is 12. If I didn't, I could just click on this question mark. I could go to this site and look at a map, and I could, find my district. This one is a direct hit, and 19 is a direct hit, and then San Francisco School Board, is a direct hit. And then I pick my party that I want to do, so because we have primaries on the site, and then that's it. And then I would hit save, and I can go to my ballots. And again, the new page looks different than this, but then I would have my, upcoming election ballot, prominently on top there, and then I could see future ballots, and I could see past ballots and that type of thing. For this demo, I'll just use the most, the 2016 presidential ballot. So as a voter, the site is more than just, my one ballot. It's really the place for everything voting, everything civic engagement. And we do have some other features planned, but I won't get into those now. But it's a place where I can, add this election ballot or other ballots to any one of my online calendars so that I can get reminders. I can, check on important dates like when and where early voting starts. And I can also, check on my voting districts. I can find my polling place. I can add what are called trusted sources, which I can get into in a little bit. But I can also check on my voter registration status and see if I'm, registered to vote. And if I'm not, and the state that I live in allows me to vote online, I can do that, right here. And again, we're going to be adding some additional features there. But it's really a place where voters can feel confident that they can go to, and everything that they need to, engage and register to vote and find their polling place and all those things are all, right here in one place. So now with that, I can scroll through my ballot, and this was the general election after a top 2 primary. So these races like U.S. Senate and that type of thing, you'll only see a couple of candidates. To give you an example of the one coming up in California in June 5th, these are the candidates running for governor. And then you'll see lieutenant governor is pretty full, U.S. Senate is full, and then you start scrolling down and seeing, the different candidates there. But I'll go back to show you what the profiles look like. So I can click on the candidate and I can see their profile. So here I can learn a little bit, about the candidate. I can see full bio. And again, I'll show you the new candidate profile looks much better and has much, more information. But I can learn a little bit about the candidate, and I can hear directly, from the candidate.
Because when families are strong, America is strong. So I'm hitting the road to earn your vote.
And I wish you would have said win your vote, would have been really cool. But I can also see, the issue statements down here. They can do images or text or video, whatever they want. And I can also scroll through groups and organizations and individuals that have endorsed this candidate. So I can scroll through those, and if I wanted to, hear directly from them, I can just click through and watch the video.
Leadership is not yelling and screaming and intimidating.
And if I wanted to favorite the candidate, I could favorite the candidate, here from their profile, or I could go back to the ballot, and I could favorite the candidate here. And if you can see up here, you can see the percentages, and those are percentages of favorites. So everyone that's on Win My Vote, if they're favoriting a candidate, you'll see those percentages change. This way the candidate can use it as sort of their own polling device where they can measure how they're doing in the race, as well as people that are working for candidates or that are strongly endorsing a candidate. They can kind of measure how that candidate is doing. But let's say I go through all of the candidates and I want to give them all 5 minutes before I favorite one. So we can hear a little bit from Gary Johnson.
I'm Gary Johnson, candidate for President of the United States, and I approve this message. I'm Governor Gary Johnson.
I'm Governor Bill Weld.
I'm running for president.
I'm running with him.
As the governor of New Mexico, I vetoed wasteful spending 750 times, cut taxes 14 times, and left the state with new highways, bridges, schools, hospitals, and $1 billion surplus without raising taxes a penny.
As governor of Massachusetts, I cut taxes 21 times and took unemployment from the highest rate among the 11 industrialized states to the lowest.
And he did that in his first term.
It was easy.
And then, you know, again, I can click through, and here are the endorsements.
Congratulations on the book. A lot to delve into. Thanks. And we'll get to the book in just a moment. Sure. But I want to ask you about what happened this morning with Gary Johnson. What was your reaction?
Much ado about nothing.
In what sense?
Well, the reason is Gary Johnson supports full withdrawal from the war. I agree with him.
And again, I can go through, you know, all of those. And let's say if I decide, you know what, Gary Johnson's my guy, I can favorite him. And then when I go back to my ballot, you can see here he's now moved into that first position and his nameplate's turned green, so it's nice and obvious. I can access this from my cell phone or tablet on the way to the polls, and it's really easy, you know, for me to be reminded of, you know, for whom I'm going to vote. Now, up on the big races on the top of the ballot, that's pretty simple, but you know, when you're going down ballot and you're getting into the school board races or the supervisor races, you know, or the BART board and community college board and those types of things, you know, it's much easier to manage your vote, you know, when you can indicate your favorites in these smaller races, you know, beforehand. We also, you know, do all of the state propositions as well as all of the measures. And yes, this is real. This is how many we had. So there was 40 total to go over. And to give you an idea, so we'll use Proposition 55 here as just, you know, one of the propositions as a voter I would need to learn about and vote on. So you can see here the language, and then I can, you know, scroll down and read the entire language of the proposition. We partnered with a company to do 1-minute sort of explainer videos, totally neutral, so the voter can click on those and, you know, hear from a neutral
Prop
source.
55 in 1 minute. Taxes for education. 4 years ago, a tax on the wealthy was passed to help fund education. It was supposed to be temporary. Now Prop 55 would extend it 12 years. The income tax is on individuals earning $250,000 or more and on couples earning $500,000 or more. If it's extended, it would raise as much as $9 billion tax. Besides, education spending has soared over the past 4 years, and we should be cutting waste, not taxing people. To sum up, a yes vote means the tax continues for 12 more years. A no vote means the tax will end in 2019.
So then here you can go down and you can see the groups and organizations and individuals that are supporting the proposition and that are opposing the proposition. So let's say if I really like Ethan Behrman, I want to hear what he has to say about the proposition. I can just click through to it and hear.
When does temporary mean temporary? Well, it doesn't here in California when it comes to money and taxes. We passed Proposition 30 back in 2012. Tier education system, a state board of education, a county board of education, and a district board of education. All other states have two, state level, district level. I say absolutely no. By the way, I have kids in public schools in California. I want the best public schools. I still say no on Prop 55.
Yeah, and with that, you know, I would listen to all the sides. And then with that, I just indicate no. And again, this is the old site, so the new site I'll show you. It looks much better. Although this video is getting really long, so I apologize on that. But when I go back to my ballot now, you would see here that it's nice and prominent no, that I'm voting no on Proposition 55. Now up here, some of these don't have the percentages, and that was we were doing some of the propositions for the mock election, and we are leaving other ones out. So that's why you'll see some of these. But you know, in the real ballot, the percentages will be shown, and these are percentages of yes and of no, and then of undecided. And again, that's really important information for the people that are supporting it and opposing it, as well as those people that are really, you know, voters that want to advocate one side or the other, to sort of understand, you know, where it stands. So I'll give you a sort of a sneak peek at what the new site will look like, and I'll probably have to do it in. So we haven't decided on that picture, by the way, yet. We have a whole bunch of different pictures that we're looking at that we're trying to figure out, you know, what to say, what to look like, and all that. But I'll do it in this presentation mode, even though it cuts a bunch off, because I think the other mode, it doesn't do it justice. So this is what the new ballot would look like. You can see the parties here, and again, you can ignore the places in the name, the faces and the names and the parties and all that type of stuff, because we were just mocking this up. But you'd be able to quickly see the candidates and their parties. You would be able to click on the candidate and learn a little bit about the candidate. Watch the video. The same thing. You can meet, message, donate. You can scroll through here and see, the endorsements. You can click through, and it'll bring you right to, the endorsement section where you can listen to the endorsements or read the endorsements. And then you can do the About Me, and then you can so my apologies, you can't really see it in this screen capture, but you can do the About Me. Then when you click here for On the Issues, sorry about that. And I'm going to have to go back to this presentation mode, and you'll just have to bear with me, sorry. But you can scroll down all About Me, and then when you can click on the issue statement, it'll bring you down, here. Then you can click on the different issues here, and then you go up to endorsements, which you can't see. So again, apologies. But you'll click on the endorsements, and then this will be, back to that first page that you were looking at when it comes to endorsements. But let's say you wanted to scroll down here to see, more of the groups and organizations. You could click on Sarah Silverman. You could click on the California Teachers Association, and you can see those right away. And then when you go back up, if you wanted to share the profile, you could share it on social media. If you wanted to favorite this candidate, you would do the same type of thing, click your star, and then when you go back to your ballot, you'd see it here. In first position, nice green star, kind of a green border, again makes it easy to look at and stands out a little bit. And then you scroll down your ballot, and you continue on. Favoring candidates, opening up new profiles, etc. So hopefully that makes sense. The business model is that candidates pay. Right now we have them paying $100 for their profile. That will change based on the number of voters and users that we have, although we're going to still try to keep it pretty low. The numbers of candidates that are out there are staggering. They're into the millions. So even at a couple $100 per profile, just on that revenue stream alone, the numbers, are good enough to go with on their own. That doesn't even that doesn't even count for the proposition page, where we have some advertising and some other things that we're working on the revenue, and how companies can pay to be a trusted source, and there's some other things that would take longer to explain. Anyway, hopefully that helps, and would love to talk with you, and look forward to meeting you at the family friends and family evening. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.